Hey guys, welcome back to Maker's Corner. Today, I'd like to talk to you about something troubling that could potentially have a negative impact on anyone who uses additive or subtractive manufacturing tools like 3D printers and CNC machines. Washington State recently passed House Bill 2320, a bill related to firearm manufacturing. But there's another proposal that deserves plenty of attention and a whole lot of scrutiny. Washington House Bill 2321, which has already drawn a ton of attention from the maker community because it focuses on something that has a direct negative impact on all of us. Instead of regulating finished products, House Bill 2321 regulates the machines themselves. While the proposed legislation focuses primarily on 3D printers, it also explicitly includes subtractive manufacturing machines like CNC mills and routers, as well as lasers. Now, this video is not about picking political sides. It's a breakdown of a proposed law and how it might interact with the technologies we as makers use every day. And let's get one thing abundantly clear. This proposed legislation has absolutely nothing to do with public safety. It is 100% about control and classic government overreach. From both an engineering and legal perspective, House Bill 2321 raises some interesting questions and some serious red flags. The bill, as currently written, proposes that 3D printers sold in Washington after July 1st, 2027 includes what lawmakers are calling blocking features. These blocking features would use a blueprint detection algorithm, whatever that means, designed to prevent the printer from producing certain regulated firearm components. In simple terms, the idea is that a printer analyzes the design file, attempts to detect restricted designs, and then refuses to manufacture those objects. One of the biggest reasons House Bill 2321 has drawn so much attention is that it asks 3D printers to do something they can't actually do. Fabrication machines, whether it's a 3D printer, a CNC mill, or a laser cutter, are designed to follow instructions, not interpret them. When you send a design file to a machine, the machine doesn't understand what the object is. It simply executes the commands it's given. The instructions generally are as simple as move here, move there, deposit material, and repeat. The machine just follows basic commands. It doesn't know anything about the objects being created. House Bill 2321 introduces a completely different idea. Instead of simply executing instructions, the 3D printer would need to analyze the file and make a determination on what kind of object it represents. In other words, the machine would have to make a judgment call about the meaning and intent of a design and not just the instructions used to create it. That shift from executing instructions to interpreting design is what makes the proposal technically challenging and frankly borderline impossible. For a printer to block a restricted part, the system must determine, is this geometry a firearm component? But the geometry files typically used in 3D printing don't contain meaning or really any actual information. They're simply collections of polygons. A simple block with holes could easily represent a robotics bracket, a gearbox, an electronics enclosure, or, yes, even a firearm component. From a computer's perspective, these objects may look very similar, and detection systems based on pattern recognition typically produce false positives blocking legitimate designs and false negatives missing restricted ones. One of my favorite and most laughable lines from the proposed bill says this: printers must be equipped with blocking features means a three-dimensional printer has integrated a software controls process that deploys a firearm's blueprint detection algorithm such that those features identify and reject prints requests for firearms or illegal firearm parts with a high degree of reliability and cannot be overridden or otherwise defeated by a user with significant technical skill. That section alone is downright laughable at best. As if most of these lawmakers haven't spent more than 24 hours on planet Earth. When was the last time a restriction was put in place, whether it be by a company or governing body, that people haven't taken as a personal challenge to bypass? Human nature is human nature. And besides that, there's the big engineering wrinkle. Manufacturing machines like 3D printers and CNC machines never even see the original CAD file. The workflow usually looks like this. A model is created in CAD, then exported as a file format the slicer or CAM software can import, processed using user-selected options, and then finally converted into G-code that looks like this. The printer is simply following motion instructions. It doesn't know what the object looks like or what those movements will even produce, so detecting specific mechanical components at the printer level becomes significantly more complicated. As poorly written as this bill is, one thing is very crystal clear. This bill would completely destroy open source hardware and software. You will not be allowed to build your own machines anymore, and many printers, both in the consumer and professional markets, heavily rely on open source firmware, hardware, and community developed systems. For example, Marlin and Klimper firmware, SKR boards, and open source slicers. That raises practical questions, such as who would be responsible for developing, implementing, and maintaining the required detection system? The printer manufacturer? The firmware developer? The government? And how exactly is this supposed to work seamlessly, considering the manufacturers and many developers aren't even based in the US? Now, a big reason this particular piece of proposed legislation has drawn my attention is its potential incompatibility with the Constitution. To be clear, I'm not a legal expert, and nothing I'm about to say automatically means the law is unconstitutional. The courts will ultimately be the ones to decide that, but there are three areas that stand out to me that spell trouble for bills like House Bill 2321 and potentially others in the future. The First Amendment protects freedom of speech, which includes many forms of information and expression. Over the years, courts have recognized that software and computer code can qualify as protected expression because they communicate ideas and technical instructions. Digital design files, like CAD models, are essentially mathematical descriptions of shapes and structures. Because of that, you could argue that regulating the distribution or interpretation of certain design files could raise free speech questions. In simple terms, the debate is whether a digital design file should be treated more like a physical object or a piece of information. And that distinction alone can matter when courts evaluate technology-related laws. Another discussion, regardless of your personal feelings, does involve the Second Amendment. Historically, people in the United States have been allowed to manufacture firearms for personal use under certain conditions. Because House Bill 2321 regulates machines that could potentially be used in that manufacturing process, it could seriously raise questions about how broadly governments can regulate tools used to create firearms. Courts typically examine whether regulations are consistent with historical practices and existing legal precedent. The third area to be discussed is the Fourth Amendment, which protects against unreasonable searches. House Bill 2321 proposes that printers include software that analyze design files before allowing a print to proceed. But that raises questions about how digital information is evaluated, and more importantly, how is it monitored? Obviously, the system would need to gather and send personal information without individual warrants for each person operating a 3D printer or CNC machine. This would raise some pretty serious red flags. New technologies often push the boundaries of existing laws. When lawmakers regulate tools that interact with digital information, courts sometimes need to determine how those rules fit within existing constitutional protections. That's why bills involving emerging technologies often lead to legal debates as well as engineering ones. From an industry perspective, laws like this force manufacturers to respond in one of three ways: create region-specific machines, apply design changes globally, or choose not to sell certain devices in specific markets. Let's break each one of those options down. The first, creating region-specific versions of machines, while technically doable, is not something that's likely to happen. The costs and complexity would be unrealistic, especially since this is just for one state. What would happen if states like California, New York, or Colorado decide they wanted to make their own state-specific laws? Would manufacturers make even more region-specific machines for those places too? The answer to that is a big fat no. It would be an absolute logistical nightmare. Option 2, would be to apply these changes globally. This would be a serious issue as other countries can get involved by saying, who does the US think they are, requiring our citizens to be forced to have their personal data analyzed and validated to make something in their own home or business. Because make no mistake, the way the bill is written allows for the potential for that exact thing to happen. The final option would be to outright ban sales in specific markets. Given that states like Washington and California have been steadily losing tech and engineering industries that typically use manufacturing technologies like 3D printers, the type of people who would generally be interested in purchasing one have been moving to more innovation-friendly states like Texas and Florida. So they might just consider cutting their losses and focusing more heavily in, well, the more lucrative markets. The goal of this video isn't to tell anyone what their opinion should be. Simply to explain how proposed legislation introduced in this bill intersects with the tools that we use every day. And I strongly urge you to read the bills for yourself. An uninformed public is most vulnerable when lawmakers try to regulate how we conduct ourselves in our own homes and businesses. I'll have some links down in the description to some great resources on how you can join the fight against these types of legislation, because Washington House Bill 2321 isn't the only one out there. I've also made some attempts inviting some of the congressional representatives associated with this bill to invite them to join us at Rocky Mountain Rep Festival to give them some first-hand education on the technologies they're attempting to create laws around, and more importantly, meet the people they'll be affecting. Unfortunately, of the 8 I reached out to, including the author of the bill, Representative Salahuddin, I have yet to hear anything back. I'll of course keep trying and update you guys if any progress is made. When laws begin affecting how machines interpret and produce digital designs, that's a conversation that matters to engineers, makers, and anyone working with fabrication technology like 3D printers or CNC machines or laser cutters, or really anything that runs G-code. So I hope you guys enjoyed this video. It's a really important topic that I feel really needs more discussion and a lot more exposure. So if you like the video, maybe hit the like button, consider getting subscribed, and definitely leave some comments down below because I would love to know what you guys think. And I did mention Rocky Mountain Rep Festival. I will be there again this year. It is April 18th and 19th, so if you happen to see me, feel free to stop me and say hi. I do love meeting as many of you guys as possible. And, oh, we also got some merch now. It's nothing fancy, but hey, it's a nice high-quality shirt, so if you're interested, I'll have some links down below. Anyways, thank you guys so much for watching. Hope you guys are doing good. Until next time, be good, stay safe, and I'll see you later.